Hey guys, Sprout here, welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be going through changes and additions I would like to see in Project Arrival and just sort of an overview of the closed beta test. It's been a fun time. As you may well be aware, it does end tomorrow, so hopefully we get some news on a future version or a future test very, very soon. Now in the background I've put a sort of sped up version of a free build on the blueprint sort of plan making thing where you can design your own house and stuff. So I didn't want to put too much gameplay in the background, so I just did something I haven't done yet during this test in the background. So anyway guys, without further ado, if you do us a massive favour, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and please share this with the developers of Project Arrival. I wasn't able to get an interview, but all in all, I think some of these are very valid points that could help improve the game. So let's get straight into it. So then first of all guys, let's go through some changes I want to see to the game. These are like existing features that I think need a bit tweak here and there or changed completely. Now they're in no particular order, these changes and additions. I've just wrote them down off the top of my head. I'm going to go through them one by one, and obviously I haven't bothered to put like the thing in the game in the background. It's just the free build. So first of all guys, I think the Mech Armor is very underpowered in PvE. There was times when you go into a raid and you can only use your Mech Armor for like a minute and you have to charge it up and stuff. And 9 times out of 10 you're actually doing more damage with your regular weapons than you are with the Mech Armor, so it seemed a bit pointless at times to actually summon it to make any sort of difference. Maybe I would do it on once or twice on like a final boss or something, just to like float around with the jetpack and, you know, shoot some damage and stuff. But most of the time, if you could just stand still or you didn't have to move very much, generally the main weapons in the game were actually more powerful than the Mech Armor, and I felt a bit underwhelmed by it. You wait until level 25 to get it. You obviously have it in the tutorial at the very beginning of the game, and it seems overpowered, but then you get it in the main game and it just feels a bit, pardon me, slightly pointless to have it, basically. Next, guys, I think the daily tasks are very hard to achieve. Now, unless you're, like, I don't know, young and you don't have any responsibilities or you don't have a job to go to or whatever, and you can't sit on the game all day, you're not going to miss any of the daily tasks. However, some of them last half an hour, and they're only, like, once a day. So I think the duration of some of the daily tasks need to be increased. And I think it needs a bit balancing more, because some of them actually fall on the same time, so you can either do one or the other depending on how efficient and fast you are doing it. So I think a lot of them need to be either longer or happen more than once a day, just to give every player the chance to actually do them. There was a couple of them, like the guild ones and stuff, I kept missing because I was doing the daily drop or whatever, and then I had to go farm stuff and what have you, so I was missing a lot of the daily events because of this. Next, guys, I think exploration is very, very good in this game. You know, there's lots to explore, there's lots of things to find and stuff, but you find random chests in the world. There's like elite chests and stuff, and I feel like the rewards from the chests were very underwhelming for the effort you would put into finding them. You would get some AA points and some mutant fruit, and you would get like 1 or 2 mutant fruits, which you could make a jam out of, like 1 jam, and it just seems a bit underwhelming. I think the rewards from the exploration chests need to be increased quite substantially to make it worthwhile actually going around and gathering these things. Even when you get the compass after defeating the final exploration on Sundale Valley, and you go find this remnants chest or something, it had the same stuff in you would get from any other chest, and it was actually hidden and you had to actually look for it, and it took me about 20 minutes to find it. I was like, is that all I got? So yeah, I think the exploration chest rewards definitely need to be increased. Now, this is a feature that I think everybody needs, everybody wants, is the ability to rename your pets. Now, everyone had the same dog at the start. It was called Cha-Cha, and you couldn't rename it. You know, a lot of like pets and other games and stuff, you can give them their own names. You give your character a name, so why not give, you know, the pet a name? Because even in the dialogue and stuff, you still have your name come up in the dialogue, but it refers to you as something else, like hero, adventurer, whatever. And it could do the same thing with the dogs, you know, especially since they're not really a significant part in dialogues or anything like that. They don't really get mentioned as such. Next thing, guys, the pop quiz. Now, you might have done the pop quiz daily mission where you have to answer 10 questions and you get a ton of experience for it. Now, I think this pop quiz should be game-related knowledge only. A couple of the questions in there required you to have some sort of aviation knowledge or scientific knowledge. You know, it'd be really smart to actually know the answer off the top of your head, unless you've done it like for a week in a row and you get the same question, you know, right, that one's the answer. It seemed a bit pointless to have general knowledge or, you know, top quiz questions in a pop quiz on a game. I think the pop quiz needs to just be game related things so people can like happily know the answer. Oh, I know how to do this, I know the answer to that. Instead of, well, I'm gonna have to sit and do maths for this one, I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? Right, next thing's a PvP thing. I think the Mech Armor in PvP should charge a lot slower. Now, I did say at the start of this that the Mech Armor was very underwhelming in PvE. However, in PvP, it's ridiculously overpowered and you can use it far too often. I saw times myself when I was literally stuck in the spawn area because the enemy team were all in mech suits and they were literally killing you in seconds. And it ruined the PvP for me a lot because it was so overpowered versus other players that it just seemed a bit, why was it there, sort of thing. And lastly, another PvP thing, guys, I think the stat levels need to balance in PvP. Now, if you did play through the closed beta test, you'll know there was a couple of players that sort of knew exactly how to max themselves out. And there was times when I was the same level as them, I had the same gear on, but because of the stats they were using and stuff, they were literally one-shotting me. I couldn't even hit them back. They were dominating the PvP, they were dominating everything. I think for fair play in PvP, everybody should have the same damage, the same skill, the same stat levels, etc. The only difference in PvP for me should be what weapon you're using and how good you are at the game. I don't think it should turn into a pay-to-win sort of scenario like you've got Life After, where the people who have got the best gear absolutely dominate regardless of their skill levels. Anyway, guys, I'm going to run into additions now. Some of the things I want to see added to the game. Obviously, the last couple of these are a given. They're going to happen anyway, but I'm still going to mention them anyway. Now, the main one is more tutorials for things. Now, what I'm doing in the background here, guys, editing and changing my layout, my house and stuff, I didn't actually know was in the game until yesterday. Now, in the first closed beta test, to make walls and floors and doors and stuff, you used your furniture crafting bench. Now, that wasn't a thing in this closed beta test, which led me to think that it wasn't in the game at all until I saw someone on the Discord server had edited the house, and I was like, well, how did you do that? And they're like, oh, yeah, I clicked such and such button. It didn't tell us in the game to do that, so I just assumed it didn't exist. Now, there's a couple of things like this where it doesn't really tell you what to do. Yes, there's a tutorial at the beginning, tells you how to fight, tells you how to gather and stuff, but that's pretty much it. I think the game itself needs a bit more sort of hints or tooltips or whatever, you know, tutorials to tell you exactly what features are in the game and how to use them properly. Next thing, guys, I want to see more vehicle skins and variants. Now, you had the bike and you had a couple of cars in this closed beta test. Now, the bike was arguably the best vehicle, wasn't the fastest one, but it was the easiest to handle. And yes, don't get us wrong, the bike looks incredible. It's got a really good skin on it, but I would like to see more skins for the bike, as well as different vehicle variants. Because yes, the cars are good, the skins are good and stuff, but just, you know, like maybe it's like hovercraft or, I don't know, a really fast suit, like a mech suit you can run around in and stuff like that. I think it'll be very good to have a bit of variety in that, especially skins as well, unlockable skins. Next to do with skins again is weapon skins. Now, obviously, you get different weapons that look different. It'd be nice to have some weapon skins on them. I know it's not really a first-person game, but the cosmetic side could be really big on this game. So giving us some weapon skins, I think, could be very, very, very awesome. Now, next, I want more to do on the guild map. Now, if you joined a guild, if you didn't join a guild, you don't know what I'm talking about. But on, say, Life After, for instance, in a camp, a big camp, you've got 40 to 80 houses all living together and stuff, right? And you've got that thing, you do your events, because you're already in your house, you go to your main town and blah, blah. This one, you have to actually teleport to your guild map, and there's no sort of shared housing or anything unless you're in a camp. And on the guild map, there's a teleporter, there's an activator for your daily quest, and there's a vendor. And these two things are nowhere near the teleporter, so there's not really any use in the slightest to be in the guild map unless there's a invasion or a daily task to do. There's nothing else to do. You can go, obviously use the vendor, it had 2 things on it, it was a bit pointless. I just feel like it would be better for the community of the game and a bit more fun for guilds to get together on the guild map if there was a lot more to do, maybe cooking or, you know, fun games and stuff, just attractions on that map to make it a bit more useful and relevant to actual gameplay. Next, guys, this is an optional one. I'm not saying this should be in the game, but obviously the Temmons Invitational, the PvP, was only on so long a day. I think it was an hour every day at a certain time. So maybe it could be possible to have some world PvP or world PvP areas added to the game where that's entirely optional for you to switch PvP on. You don't have to take part in it, you can just go gather. But it might give people who enjoy the PvP aspect of the game something to do, you know, go to these areas and just test each other out, you know, see how good you actually are before you get into the Temmons Invitational or whatever it is to actually try out the arena and stuff. And lastly, guys, I think character emotes added to the game, you know, dances and waves and stuff would just be a bit better than just, you know, running around pointing your gun at each other. Now, last but not least, more areas, level cap, weapons and armor, but these are a given. I'd imagine in future versions all these things are going to get added anyway, so I'd just mention it anyway, you know, more varieties of weapon, armor, skins, stuff like that, and of course, after Eden Gate, more areas, more level cap. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. This is all the sort of changes and additions I think they need in the game. There's obviously more, but I can't probably think off the top of my head. I'm sure all of you guys have got plenty of ideas as well. You can give them, people having the interview, stuff like that. So anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you have. Make sure you've subscribed. And hopefully very soon I'll see you in a future Project Arrival closed beta test. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.